Welcome, intellectuals, fed up by the mundane monotony of scripted literature and droning scientific dogma. To the stakes, let's burn the boredom. Zirconia, ceramic steel, Swarovski, aka could have been a girl's best friend but then got brozoned. A material of remarkable properties, its introduction has revolutionized the way we do dentistry. But what's with all the fuss? Or is it just fizz? Let's find out in today's episode of Making Materials Boring is a Crime. Zirconia, derived from the Persian word zargan meaning gold-like, zirconia is a silvery white metal with an atomic weight of 40. This metal is an absolute heavy hitter. I mean, you could use it in everything from making nuclear fuel rods to space shuttles. Did you know that the powder is inflammable and you could even use it to make bombs too? Zircon was even believed to induce sleep, promote wealth, honor, and drive away evil plagues and spirits. No wonder I feel sleepy at work all the time. Zircon has a melting point of around 1855 degrees Celsius and a boiling point of a whopping 4400 degrees Celsius. I mean, that's almost the temperature of the surface of the sun. But that's not why we're here today, is it? What makes zirconia so useful in dentistry? Is it because of its impressive compressive strength, its brilliant flexural strength, or its ability to thwart nasty little cracks? Or is it because it's so damn easy to mill out a crown or a bridge from a single blank of zirconia rather than sitting and layering loads of ceramic onto a coping only to have it chip off when the patient bites on, chip? Let's find out. Let's put zirconia up in a series of standardized tests against a very tough competitor to find out. So I have in my hand a sintered blank of zirconia. So the unsintered one is 98 mm and you can see how smaller this one's become. That's because when sintering happens, the ceramic fuses and shrinks and basically becomes smaller and denser. So we can expect this to have good strength. Let's test it out. Whoa, hold up. I told standardized, didn't I? Just kidding, guys. Let's meet the Instron 3000. This is the universal testing machine at Saveetha's White Lab. We threw on a series of milled and sintered ceramic samples on the Instron 3000 and then we tested them out. The first is a test of compression. Now in layman's terms, compression is basically crushing an object between two flat surfaces and seeing how it holds up. Now zirconia has a brilliant ability to withstand such forces and we can expect something cool. So we've done a couple of runovers, but then as you can see, not a scratch. And this goes to show how strong this sintered zirconia really is. Even though there are a lot of hollow spaces from the milling of teeth, even this non-continuous blank is still so strong. Now let's go and test some impact strength. Compression, however, is just one part of the equation. An entirely different set of forces result when the teeth strike each other in the order of a few microseconds. Impact forces. However, we don't have anything standardized to test for impact forces, so we just had to make do. Meet Bruce. Welcome back, guys. It's a blisteringly hot morning and right off the bat, we're going to do some impact testing. That was so much fun. As you can see, the bridge unfortunately did fracture. But then if you notice, it's not fractured in the region where there's bulk of material, namely the cusps or the pontic. It's actually given way at the connector, which is usually the thinnest region of a bridge. So I would dare to say it's not the impact force as such, but it's more because of the flexure at that point which has caused it to fracture. So this makes it clear that ceramic has an excellent impact strength. In bulk, it can withstand fracture. But then Much like in the mouth, it's usually the connector that gives way. So this shows the importance of connector thickness in the rehabilitation of a long span case with ceramics. The last is a test of flexion. Now flexion is basically bending. However, flexion is something too much to ask of a material as hard and brittle as zirconia. The standardized test for flexion is a 3-point bend test. The 3-point bend test is when you place an object suspended at both its ends and then you stress it in the middle. Now, we threw on some samples that were sintered 1, 2, 5 times and another sample of twice the length. Now, what we found out is that the flexural strengths dropped in the samples that had been sintered 2 and 5 times. This is due to the development of microvoids within the zirconia crystal as it is fired again and again. Now the sample that is twice the length, that displays lower flexural strengths as well. And this is due to something known as the law of beams, which states that a sample that is twice the length flexes 8 times as much compared to a sample that is half the length. Now this clearly demonstrates why a long span, unsupported, small framework is a very poor choice for zirconia as a restorative material. Now despite all this, how does zirconia manage to be as amazing as it is? You see, zirconia, the dioxide of the metal zircon, is available in 3 crystallographic forms in nature: cubic, tetragonal and monoclinic. The tetragonal and the monoclinic forms are the ones of interest to us today. You see, the tetragonal and the monoclinic crystals, they are somewhat like Bruce Banner and the Hulk. The tetragonal crystal is smaller, well ordered and displays optimal properties for use, much like Professor Banner. The only catch is that it's only stable at 1100 to 2200 degrees Celsius. Throw in stress, fatigue, low temperature and boom, out goes Banner and in comes the Hulk. The monoclinic crystal is larger, less well arranged and makes for a very haphazard crystal arrangement. However, it is stable at room temperature. Throw in too many crystalline transformations from tetragonal to monoclinic and what happens is a catastrophic destruction of the entire crystal structure. This has been referred to as low temperature degradation of zirconia. So how do I stabilize the Banner without wiping out half the universe? I throw in a black widow. Some materials have the ability to metastabilize this tetragonal form of zirconia at room temperature. Yttria is a crowd favorite. Now, this resultant material is called as yttria stabilized tetragonal zirconia polycrystal. Pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? However, the Hulk does have a final ace up his sleeve.
Dr. Banner, now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
You see, in 1975, Hanning found out that this potentially stable crystal arrangement of zirconia could in fact be used to our advantage. This is similar to the sealant gel that closes up a puncture instantaneously in a self-sealing tire. When a crack propagates through the zirconia crystal, the crystals that are closest to the advancing front of the crack undergo a phase transformation from the tetragonal to the monoclinic form. The monoclinic crystals, being larger, try to push outward, but then they have crystals surrounding them as well. So the net result is a thrust inward towards the crack and the crack gets blunted. And this is what is known as transformation toughening in ceramics. Now, I hope you guys had fun. Until next time, bye-bye.